Well, maybe a football Sunday, but the Heat season tips off in just a couple of days, and that's why we got our guy, Sentinel Heat beat writer Ira Winderman joining us, and some serious news on Dion Waiters and the Heat. Where does that stand right now?
You know, Chris, this is probably the last thing anyone wants 3 days before a season opener. Hey, we're suspending a guy who's a rotation player, but it reached the point during Friday's meaningless exhibition against the Houston Rockets. Dion Waiters not happy, playing as a reserve the entire preseason. Basically a case of insubordination, which is the type of grounds you could suspend an NBA player. So it's a one-game suspension for Dion. He'll miss Wednesday's opener against the Memphis Grizzlies. But you have to wonder, Chris, because it's just a one-game suspension now, back with the team supposedly on Thursday. But this is sort of a bad look, and it makes you wonder, Heat culture, the very culture that Jimmy Butler signed on for, where do they stand right now?
And he also went on social media today, almost bashing Erik Spoelstra.
Yeah, it was not almost. Yeah, it was. You're talking about that.
Tell us about that.
I mean, he went on social media, and I double-checked, and this is a verified Dion Waiters account, basically saying, look, Erik Spoelstra hasn't won unless he's had LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. Went to 4 NBA Finals, then a pair of NBA championships. The Heat, 2 of the last 3 years, did not advance to the playoffs, have won only 1 playoff game. But you don't do that after you find out you've been suspended. Another commentator says, well, it doesn't matter. You have Tyler Herro. He's better than you. He responds, LOL. Look. Social media rarely works for anyone, but to be in this kind of jackpot, to try to earn your way back into good graces, I don't know if that happens, Chris, because the bottom line is, as ugly as Dion Waiters thought it was, he was going to be a rotation player. He was going to get definitive minutes in every game. Now, I'm not so sure.
Considering how strict the Heat culture diet is for Pat Riley and Erik Spoelstra, can they stomach Philly cheese anymore? Is it time to try to move on from Dion Waiters?
Well, you could say it's a time to move on. The real question is, the operative question, can you? And if there was a trade for Dion Waiters to have been made this offseason, the Heat would have made it. If there was a trade for James Johnson, who was suspended for training camp or banished from camp, they would have made it. Well, you certainly don't make yourself any more tradable by getting suspended for the start of a season. So right now, Dion has this season and next season on his contract. Just like James Johnson, the bold move, and I think this will be the bold play by the Heat, just forget him. Shove him to the end of the rotation. Go with other players. The train is not stopping right now, and Erik Spoelstra and Pat Riley refuse to let this get soured anymore.
And when you talk about going with other players, Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Herro, obviously getting a lot of playing time in the preseason. How much has their play shifted Dion Waiters to the bench?
It's made it easier for not having to rely on Dion. Look, there were conditioning issues even coming into this camp. Yes, James Johnson was banished, but Dion barely made his numbers anyway, and the Heat were like, whoa, you're finally over the ankle injury. What's going on? So you're right. Kendrick Nunn had 40 points against the Rockets, and you could say it was meaningless, but Houston was playing their main players in that game Friday at American Airlines Arena. Tyler Herro has shown he already has one definitive NBA skill with his outside shooting. You're covered on the perimeter. You have decent wings this season. So Dion's going to have to earn his way back. And I got to tell you, I think this is not just one game when it comes to the banishment. I'm not so sure he plays in games 2 or 3 either after being away from the team now for 4 days.
And that really gave Erik Spoelstra a formidable set between him and Goran Dragic to be able to come off the bench with that secondary scoring. How much does this really shift this Spoelstra approach going into the season with his offense?
Here's the thing. Erik Spoelstra said, I'm not going to let these guys screw it up anymore. That's why James Johnson, out of sight, out of mind. Dion Waiters, you're not going to be here. Erik Spoelstra has spent the last 2-3 years waiting on these players. He's not waiting on anyone anymore. And the reason for that is this. When you are paying Jimmy Butler $34 million this season to play, you can't wait on anyone. You went all in this summer. You got rid of Josh Richardson. You got rid of Hassan Whiteside. You saw Dwayne Wade retire. You found other pieces. Right now it's playing catch-up for Waiters. It's playing catch-up for James Johnson. But Erik Spoelstra is waiting for no one. And the suspension showed they are serious.
And it shows a change of philosophy, really, like
Yes.
you're talking about, but a fresh approach as they approach the season opener on Wednesday night. How different is this style of Heat dynamic between what Pat Riley and Spoelstra are putting into effect than what we've seen in years past? Obviously, they put up with James Johnson and Dion Waiters before, but to take this fresh approach into the season, how positive is that for the Heat culture and Heat Nation?
Well, Udonis Haslem said in a practice today, he said, these aren't new rules. These have always been the rules. We're just enforcing them again. It's sort of like when you get this grace period, don't be on your phone while you're driving. Don't be texting. We'll give you this amount of period. The grace period is over. The Heat has their core tenets right now. One of them is, Erik Spoelstra issued this to his players, enjoy your teammates' success. He told the players this before the game on Friday. And then here you have Kendrick Nunn going for 40 points, and you have Dion Waiters grousing and being on the outside of the huddle during that game, and it just doesn't look good. Erik Spoelstra and the Miami Heat don't ask a lot for you. Be on time, work hard, 1% better every day, and then you have a moment like this. They don't want other players saying, well, if Dion gets away with it, just like last year, well, if Hassan Whiteside gets away with it, that's what's changed. There are core values, and it's 100% compliance.
And who will be 100% of the lineup when they hit the floor Wednesday night against the Grizzlies?
Oh, it's a skill testing question here. Look, Bam Adebayo is going to be there. Jimmy Butler's going to be there. Even though he's 0 for 12 on three-pointers during the preseason, I think Justice Winslow will be there. So we're asking about two other positions. Myers Leonard started all 5 games at power forward. I think if Kelly Olynyk is ready, he'll be there. And now without Dion Waiters, you're basically asking me, is it Kendrick Nunn or Tyler Herro? I don't think they want to give the rookie too much too soon. Tyler Herro has really struggled on defense. So I think Kendrick Nunn is going to be one of these out of nowhere to somewhere stories. I think he could be your 5th starter on opening night.
Oh, but Heat Nation can't wait to see Tyler Herro. He has been something special so far in the preseason. Should be interesting when they tip it all off Wednesday night. Ira Winderman does a great job covering the Heat since their inception, really, so continue to follow him.
Haven't been suspended once.
That's a good thing. Not yet.
Not that I know of.
Thanks for joining us, Ira.
Thank you, Chris.